For the next 72 hours, we are going to be kayaking through remote islands on the coast of Alaska. There are no motorized vehicles, no cell service, just us and the wild environment that surrounds us. But we are not alone. Brown bears, wolves, and tons of other wildlife live in these lands. Not only that, heavy rain will accompany our journey as we travel through the largest temperate rainforest zone on the planet Earth. And not everything goes to plan, as we would quickly find out. The journey started 45 hours ago, as my family and I planned out the meals, bought all the food, flew down to Gustavus, a small town in remote Alaska that barely had even a grocery store, packed our bags, and traveled from the town to the small dock where we picked up our kayaks to start our journey. Alright, we are off. We are currently going to the Beardsley Islands, and there's only two ways to get there. A 6-hour sketchy kayak through rough waters, or going through a tight passage. But the only way to get through the tight passage is aligning your time to be right when the tides are at its highest. You have a 30-minute window to get in and a 30-minute window to get out. It is super shallow here. You could walk across this. This is as far as the paddle goes in. You have to navigate this very carefully to not bottom out. Oh, there's a rock. Water was not here just a few hours ago, so these bubbles come from pockets of air. Oh, this is a very shallow part. Let's go back. Yep. We started riding here, and our plan is to go up through here, and out here, up through there, and then camp riding here. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Before setting out, a ranger had warned us that if something bad happened, we would have to get ourselves out. Motorized vehicles are not allowed, so there's no chance for a pickup if things go wrong. There's a dolphin right up there. We paddled for hours until we stumbled upon one of the most amazing things I have ever witnessed. There's so many seals. All these tiny dots are seal heads. There were over 100 harbor seals hanging out all around us. Everywhere I looked, I would see a seal. It was unbelievable. Some of these islands in here are closed for seal pupping, which explains why there's so many seals around here. But we still had many more miles to kayak. There is no time to rest in Alaska. It was time to get moving again.
What do you guys think of this island here that we're immediately adjacent to?
Well, this looks like a sweet spot. You could camp in the grasses and eat on the point. Was that the glaciated? Oh, that did not sound good. Oh. Let's find a spot to camp. These guys have a nest around here, and they're trying to distract us to get away from their nest. There's a tarp here. It's no fun to see trash out here, so we can take it out. Leave no trace and make the place better than you found it. Here we got some hoof prints continuing up through here. A moose has definitely been through here. Only a few minutes into our search, we saw prolific signs of bear activity in the area. Here's some more fresh scat. Here's a lot more scat. And you can kind of see a game trail right through here. I think there's a lot of bear activity on this island. So we're gonna go kayak to another one and see if there's a little bit less. We got an eagle feather right here. Let's go try that island over there. Hopefully there'll be less bear activity. Look at all these mussels. It turns this rocky beach blue with the thousands of shells. The second island looked worse than the first. Here's a turned over log, a definite sign of bear activity. Another turned over log, and this grass here is matted down. Some animals spent the night here. And here's some fresh bear scat, and some more, and some more. We dug out rock. There were definitely bears that lived in this area, and we would have to stay on high alert. So we're gonna go to one more island and see if it has any less. Luckily, they're all super close together, so it only takes around 10 minutes to travel from one island to another. Huge kelp forest here, which makes for some rough paddling. As far as I can see, all the way to that land, there is only kelp. We unloaded our gear, then explored a place to camp. This seems to be a great spot to camp, and it has a gorgeous view. With camp decided, my brother and I headed into the woods to see what the island had to offer. We immediately saw multiple signs of bear activity yet again. Here's some bear scat, some more bear scat. We got a little bit of a bear dig that happened in here. And other unusual things. The woods were gorgeous, covered in moss, but also it reminded us that we were currently in the biggest temperate rainforest zone on the planet, and we had not packed a tent. All we had was a tarp. We were going at it for hours, cutting up the dead trees, hauling the trees, and dropping them off at camp. My arms felt like they were gonna fall off, but there was no other option. We're a little bit tired and sweaty after all that work, so we're gonna jump in the glaciated waters, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This water comes straight from a tidewater glacier, so it is freezing cold. It is freezing being in there for just 10 seconds, but if we tipped our kayaks in the middle of the ocean, that would not be good. All right, let's make some dinner with this beautiful view. Some cumin and some salt. Delicious. I could definitely have another one of those. Dinner was delicious, but our shelter was still not complete. Luckily, we had the wood, so all we had to do was put it together.
Doesn't actually need
night. We have a lot of fun things planned tomorrow, so we're gonna get to bed. And we'll see you in the morning. The shelters held up well in the rain. We were nice and toasty all night. Wow, the tide has receded so much. Let's go check this out. There are so many birds out here. Oh gosh. I'm hungry, so let's make some breakfast. We keep our bear barrels a ways away from our tents. Because we're in Alaska with a lot of brown bears, this is very important to stay safe and not attract bears to our campsite if they are attracted to our food. Breakfast, we're gonna be grabbing Bear Barrel 49. We got our pancake batter mix. We'll put in some powdered milk. It's starting to pour down rain, so I just got my rain gear on. Alright, that was delicious. And after sitting down on a rock for 30 minutes, without moving that much, I am starting to freeze. So we're gonna go walk to warm up and explore this island that we're on. Bear poop. A crab? Oh, barnacle. Oh, look at that. That's brackish. See this stump right here? This stump could be over 9,000 years old. Just 300 years ago, this spot right here was covered in a massive glacier, which has now receded over 60 miles. Before that glacier, there was a huge forest right here. And here we can see a stump from that forest. Some of these stumps have been recorded to be over 9,000 years old. That's older than the Egyptian pyramids. Now that we're warmed up from that walk, we're gonna set up a tarp and then we're gonna hop on our kayaks and go explore.
Oh yeah! This is awesome! Okay.
Down. This is great. We're dry and we have an amazing view. With this great setup done, let's go kayak. Alright, we brought our fishing rods out, so let's see if we can't catch anything. Oh, we caught something. Like 100 feet on right. And a lot of them have their pups with them. That's amazing. Alright, we've been out here for around 40 minutes. Haven't caught anything, so we just switched lures and hopefully then we'll spend around another 30 minutes fishing and hopefully this will catch something. It is pretty miserable out here. I mean, it's around 40 degrees and raining. I'll definitely prefer it to be like below freezing and snowing, because raining just gets you wet and more cold exponentially. But we're gonna keep fishing and hopefully we catch something.
There you go.
Alright, we had no luck fishing, but I guess that's why they call it fishing. There's no guarantee. We were out there for a while and now it's starting to become dinner time already. Oh, look at this rock. It's been raining almost non-stop for the last 12 hours. There is nothing dry. We are wet and cold, so let's see if we can get a fire going. Getting a fire going in these conditions is tough. Every piece of wood is soaked all the way through. Nothing was catching, and I was starting to give up hope. This is impossible, I said to myself. But luckily, it was not. And after 30 minutes of trying in the wet rain, the wood caught. Now that we've got the fire going, let's make some bread. Let's pour some water into our 3-ingredient bread recipe. 3 cups of flour, yeast, and a sprinkle of salt. And now let's mix. And then we let it sit. After wrapping the bread up in tinfoil, I built a makeshift rock bread oven and put the tinfoil wrapped bread onto the hot coals and put a rock on top to seal it off for it to bake. Then it was time for our main course, lentil soup. The nice part about kayaking is that you have more room than backpacking to carry supplies. This allowed us to be able to make delicious meals every night. Here's some bread, some butter, and some honey. And this honey is from our own bees. Bon appetit. It may have been cold and wet, but warm food does numbers to your spirit. Can't get better than this. Oh my gosh. There's a whale. The whale just spouted right up there. That was a good dinner, but we're all tired, so we're gonna head to bed. And we'll see you in the morning. Good morning. These barnacles are massive. Every few seconds down here, you see a score of water popping out from under the ground. It's the clams that are releasing their water. It's pretty funny to watch. Clams filter feed, so once they've filtered all the water, they release it.
This is really, really good. Has melted peanut butter and chocolate mixed together under the surface. It's amazing.
Now let's make some hot water for coffee for my mom and some oatmeal. All right, let's load the kayaks. It's a low tide today, so we have to haul our stuff out a ways. Wow, the tide rises fast. Every time we put another thing on the boat, the tide was another foot higher. There's some sea otters.
He doesn't know how to dive yet.
This guy's a baby and he does not know how to dive yet. Sea otters are really cool animals. A fun fact about them is they don't have any blubber. They only have fur, and so to survive the cold temperatures of around 40°F water, they have 1 million hairs per square inch, which is more than any animal on Earth. The adventure is not over. We still have around 10 miles of paddling and only 3 hours to do it before the tide changes and we can't get through that narrow passage. As we paddled, I let out my rod in hopes of catching any last fish before we were finished. Throughout this journey, the wildlife had been unbelievable. From the baby sea otter that we had just seen, the humpbacks that we saw spouting from our camp, the hundreds of harbor seals we saw on the first day, the brown bears and sea lions, to the porcupine that was eating plants right outside of our lodging in Gustavus. Unfortunately, much of the surrounding area is at risk, along with many other of our country's untouched national forests. The current administration is working to take away the 2001 Roadless Rule, which has protected over 44 million acres of undeveloped national forest from road building and commercial logging. Glacier Bay National Park, where we were kayaking, is surrounded by the Tongass National Forest, which is threatened by this decision. If the Roadless Rule were to be taken away, these wild, precious ecosystems would be harmed. Regardless of your politics, I think we can all agree that care is required when tending to our public lands. I encourage you to read more about this and reach out to your elected representatives. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please consider subscribing and or leaving a like. It really helps a lot. I'll see you in the next one.